Hey everybody, Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com with another 5 minutes to a better mix video for you. We're looking at 31 mixing tips in 31 days. And today I've got a tip for you on how to continue to make your arrangement and your mix interesting. And this is one of the oldest things in the book, and that is simply to involve percussion, like hand percussion, shaker tracks, tambourine tracks, things like that. In the chorus, there's usually the hook or the payoff in the chorus. And so much of our mixing decisions go to making that part of the song memorable, exciting, interesting, engaging, and energetic for a lot of music. One way to change the feel or add a layer to the chorus to separate it from the verse is simply to add percussion to the mix. Now, what does this look like in a typical home studio, project studio mixing environment? To me, this looks like you've recorded everything and perhaps you didn't have access to percussion or you didn't think about it. Well, you have access to loops. I mean, even programs like GarageBand come with percussion loops. So what I do a lot of times is after I've recorded, edited, mixed, as I'm wrapping up a mix and I'm thinking about how can I sweeten the mix, am I getting all the elements that I want in it, sometimes I find that a chorus really could benefit from sifting through my loop library and just pulling out a tambourine or a shaker loop that fits the tempo of the song or stretching it to the tempo of the song and adding it in on top of the drums to just change the feel. Let me give you an example of what this can do. It sounds simple, but again, it really helps. Here is a mix that's going from verse to chorus, and you'll hear the chorus come in, and it's fine, but it seems like something's missing when it gets to the chorus. Let's take a listen.
Jesus, through your spirit, enable me to see the beauty of your splendor as you reign in majesty. Holy One, you sit enthroned above all created things.
All right, so the chorus is cool, and it works, but it feels like the energy really needs to pick up there in the chorus, right? It needs to really step up. That's the hook, and that's where the guitars get a little thicker. And one way that I could bring that energy, since I couldn't find it any other way, was simply to bring in a simple tambourine loop. So if I flip over to my edit window, I've got my drum tracks here in the red, green, purple, blue. And then what I did is simply go ahead and grab a tambourine loop. Let's take a listen to this in solo. Right? Pretty simple. I didn't play it, just grabbed a loop. And then all I did was simply loop it for the whole section of the chorus so we can go back to the verse and hear how it changes into the chorus and see what just a simple tambourine percussion loop will do for the energy of the chorus. I think it brings out the best in the chorus.
The beauty of your splendor as you reign in majesty. Holy One, you sit enthroned above all created things. My only one.
Right? Really, really simple. But it's got that constant it adds those 16th notes. It adds another frequency range that my snare drum doesn't have, because this drum beat is this really sort of marching snare drum. So he's hanging on the snare, but this adds some cymbals and some frequencies that cut through in the upper mids and the highs that aren't there really anywhere else in the song. The guitars are sort of thick, overdriven guitars, and it's kind of dark and brooding tones. So this just like cuts through the mix, and it's constant energy. That's what good percussion can do for in this type of scenario, whether it's a shaker track, whether it's a tambourine loop, heck, whether it's you go to your kitchen and grab a salt shaker and come up and just kind of shake it a foot away from the microphone and loop that, right? tighten it up, loop it, get it the right volume level. That sort of constant percussive element is in so many pop and rock and R&B songs. Even songs you wouldn't expect a tambourine to no one wants to say there was a tambourine in so many of these tracks. But listen to the radio, any track that you think is modern and fresh, it very well probably has a shaker and a tambourine in there somewhere. It just isn't featured, and you wouldn't know it if you weren't listening for it. But it's because they're so effective at adding layers. And so much of your job as a mixer is to make that chorus pop. So use percussion on your next track, experiment with it. I think you'll be surprised at how helpful it is. You probably won't want to go a mix without it. Hope that helps. Again, this is Graham at therecordingrevolution.com with 5 minutes to a better mix. We'll see you on the last two videos.